What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? So, our boy Sean P. Diddy Combs is in a little bit of trouble. Tonight, I have a special guest in here. I don't know if y'all remember Diary of a Hollywood Street King. It was one of the first big websites on the West Coast that really spilled all the tea and all the stuff. My man Jacky Jasper. Guess what? I got him in the building tonight. You can't see him because he can't show his face. You know, he don't spill the tea on so many people. People out here looking for him. Jacky, what's happening, man?
I'm all right, man. I'm good. Ain't nobody looking for me. I just don't. I just ain't got no time for all that right now. Later on, we get into all that, but we're good. Yeah,
Oh, for sure, man.
yeah, we're
So
good.
I appreciate you coming on first and foremost, man. What's going
hmm
on with your boy Diddy, man? What's going on? Because I know you know the really real.
Well, I mean, I think this been brewing for a minute. You know,
Hmm.
um, I think everybody got something to say right now about Diddy, but those who knew him, we've been talking this over a decade now. You know.
For sure, because I
Um,
remember, not to cut you off, I remember 5, 6 years ago when me and you first started rapping, you was telling me there was something coming down about Diddy, and I said, man, you tripping. Ain't nothing wrong with P. Diddy. But here we
see,
go. Continue.
and I mean, let's take it all the way back to our boy Tupac, who's most likely smiling from heaven right now because everything that Pac said about him is actually coming to life. You know,
For real, for
um,
real.
and here's a dude who started off his life as we would call him a fucking nerd. I mean, excuse my language. We would call him a nerd, a freaking nerd, right?
Hmm.
And I would say that why? Because this guy partaked in videos from groups like the Five Young Cannibals. He was teaching Stacy Lattisaw how to dance. Was a good kid that went to Howard University and
Hmm.
found out he had the gift of gab, and then ran into, I think, the person who turned him out, which was Andre Harrell, you know.
Oh, so Andre Harrell, he was a part of that little fraternity?
Yeah, I think. Well, after, because Puff was going to school, but hanging out with Andre and them on the weekends and all that. You know,
Mm.
I think that's when he got turned out and got a job right away from school as a CEO of a record company and all that. You know, um, which is crazy. You know, and from that plateau, um, leaving that and then getting connected with Clive Davis was
Mm.
really when it all happened. And him getting connected with Clive was when Clive was connecting L.A. Reid and all of that. And I think at that time of this thing that we call hip hop, the man, aka the industry, wanted to change the language of the game because
Mm.
prior to Puffy and all of that, we was on some Public Enemy NWA type phase, you know.
Mm.
Um, we were belling, you know, we were belling a lot. You know what I'm saying? So they
Mm.
had to calm down the noise, and Clive gave Puffy a bag, gave Andre Harrell and L.A. Reid and Babyface a bag, and we started to see the music changing.
Yeah, now
Um,
let me ask you a question, Jacky, real quick, because you brought L.A. Reid up, and me and you both know how L.A. Reid get down without saying it.
that's why I'm mentioning the characters to show you the cast members. So we kind of putting the cast members and how people fitted in and how they connected. You know, and when Bad Boy came to life, I mean, this guy was in his early 20s.
Mm.
Getting a job of probably a man who was the industry for decades. He just got in there. Like, that's what you call a plant. You know what I'm saying? That's what you call industry plant. Yeah.
Mm.
And his motive was to have the music that we were doing softened. And he softened it by having his rappers rap about Versace, and the girls started liking it. And before you know it, it was coming so, the music was coming so wishy washy, you know,
Mm.
when he got into the game. But no one really took notice. Everyone partaked in it because we're coming into like a bling era, you know?
Mm.
But everybody forgot that this dude is really a plant and always was a plant. He got from this whole connecting with Craig Mack, who was probably his first hit record. Craig Mack
Who?
was
Hold
probably,
on. Who we just found out his cause of death, was the virus. Shout out to Craig Mack, rest in peace. That's just really interesting, though.
yeah, you know. And let's say Craig was the first to jump off on Bad Boy, you know. Then we had, I mean, Total wasn't there, but I think Total came after Biggie, right? And Biggie came through. And now we're looking at one and two that was on the label. They're not here with us anymore. R.I.P. to both gentlemen, right?
Yes, sir.
Both of them was jumping out the window on Puffy. Both of
Mm.
them wanted to be gone, right?
Yeah, so let me ask you this. So Biggie had plans on, and I heard this from the homie Gene Deal. Shout out to Gene Deal. I talked to him this morning. He told me that Biggie had plans on leaving.
Of course. Because remember, Biggie was messing with Un and all those cats over there, right? So Biggie
Mm.
had plans to leave, you know? And then, you know, we all know what happened to him. So that's a whole different thing. We're just breaking down how a nerd became so violent and
So
criminal.
yeah, because I know back then his orientation wasn't really a big thing, and there's a lot of stuff coming to light, about him doing a lot of really committing a lot of atrocities, man. They said this
Yeah.
man had cameras in every room of his house and had
I
people
mean,
filmed, and he would use that as and you
you
told me
remember,
this before, he would use that as leverage against people.
yeah, I'm coming back to it. Suge Knight once said this was the guy who was dancing all up in people's videos. So this was a happy go lucky person for 5 minutes before he became so psychotic, right?
Mm.
And I think this all started out in the late '90s, after Biggie's passing, or a little before, like right, a little before. He was going crazy, but he never went crazy till probably in the late '90s when he started eating ecstasy like kids eat vitamins.
Mm. Hmm.
And when he got into that drug is when he went sex crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, and I think he was doing this for a minute without recording it. And then he started to record the device for leverage amongst others who were on camera partaking in his debauchery that he created, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and he was like making porn films without making box covers and stuff at the Valley. He was just making these things for his personal blackmailing use and probably to watch privately at himself. So he was most likely a voyeur, right? So he was the
Hmm.
type of guy who prior from the camera would have these type of sexual festivities going on, but he was the type peeking and looking at it. You know what I'm saying? So he was more a director of dirt. You dig what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
and and in order to keep such a fueled sick mind going, he added more different things to it. He added drugs, he added fear, you know, um, and it was all about power, you know.
Well, they saying they
And
found 1,000 bottles of baby oil at his house and guns and all of the other stuff. So he was
yeah,
definitely getting it in.
well, I think what they're trying to tell you by having the thousand baby oils and the thousand bottles of lube, I think what they're trying to let us know is that this was like a porn set, you know?
Hmm.
And by having all the ARs and stuff that they spoke about is letting us know that, hey, this guy was violent at the same time, right?
Hmm.
And by giving him no bail shows that he's a flight risk, right?
Of course.
Um, they took his passports. They said in April, he had to turn in his passports or something like that in April, right? So he couldn't
Mhm.
fly out. But if this is true, wasn't he just in Grenada when they went down there and got him or something, right? So um, if they had the passport in April, I believe in the summer he went down to the Grenada or something in the Caribbean islands because he that's when his that's when the his drug dealer got busted, the white dude, right?
Hmm.
Around that time, right? So that means he don't care if you got my passport or nothing. He's still gonna do what he need to do, fly it. He don't care about rules. So it seems like he makes his own law. He's the law and he's the order. You know, he calls the shots, and the government had to go down there and get him.
Not no
So
more. They made sure that they made themselves clear with that because he's he behind bars right now.
yeah, and and him not having his barber to dye his hair and dermatologist to have his skin all looking cool like Puffy. Him behind bars in the next 2 weeks, you're gonna see a whole different man.
Yeah,
You
them
know what I'm
braids
saying?
go come in, them little hairpieces gonna
Yeah,
start coming out and
yeah,
falling out. Buffy goes like he's 70 years old.
yeah. They're gonna embarrass him. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's about to embarrass him. And he got his house out here in L.A. out there in Calabasas, I believe he got that up for sale, right? So
Mhm.
I guess she's selling that to pay some lawyers off and all that. Put his mama's house up, part of the 50 million that he was trying to put out there for bail. And they canceled that, told him, nah, you ain't catching bail, you know? So
Well, why you think that? You think they believe? You said they believe he's a flight risk, right?
I just told you they took his passport in April, and just this time in the summer when his drug dealer, the white dude, got busted, they was in Grenada. So that means he left the country on his plane without paperwork. You dig what I'm saying? So he showed them that I don't listen to the law. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You feel me? Huh?
Now we was talking earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many other people you think he go throw in the grease with him? How many other people is involved in this? Any names that we may know?
I think it's so many names. So many different people, right? Right now we can throw names and speculation. People, I'm reading people talking about Cuba Gooding Jr. was there. This is coming up from the case from that lawsuit that something Rod, whatever his name is, whatever
Yeah,
Rod
yeah,
Ware.
the producer brought forward. But
Yeah,
you know what? I don't know if I buy everything that producer talk about because he talk about that he was with Puffy for a year and did get compensated. I think he made a choice to hang out with Puffy. Now he's just trying to get him some bread. I don't know. I
yeah,
could be
yeah.
wrong. I
He's
could be wrong.
No, you could be wrong and you could be right. Seems like he's trying to eat at two sides of the table, right?
Hmm.
Um, but he did tell us, some information that Cuba Gooding was sent by Puffy to get at him. So he treated that producer fellow like he was an escort, you know? So if Puffy's going to solicit you, that means he already had you. You dig what I'm saying? He's
Mm-hmm.
not going to solicit you without having you. It's like a madame selling one of her courtesans without knowing what her courtesan does, or a pimp having a chick on the street and he doesn't know what she does. So Puffy had to knew what this guy was all about in order to solicit him to Cuba Gooding Jr. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, that was one name on the list.
Well, we got Cuba Gooding Jr., we got Stevie J, and I heard stuff about Stevie
Yeah.
J before all this stuff came out.
Hmm.
Stevie J looked like a pervert. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Stevie J's got that little look to him.
yeah, your Stevie J definitely is a part of the whole initiation thing, according to that producer fella, whatever his name was, that Puffy was showing him reels and tape and letting him know this is all part of the industry, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, these freak officers is a part of the industry. Look, Stevie J's doing it. You know what I'm saying? And Stevie J's definitely a part of this. And we heard when they were reading out the charges on CNN today, they said it wasn't just Puffy. They believed he had helpers, enablers.
Mm-hmm.
It was a crew. People were setting up these hotel rooms. Some people was getting the drugs. People were cleaning up these hotel rooms after the parties.
Mm-hmm.
So
They had the most disgusting job in the whole out the whole crew. The cleanup crew had the most disgusting job.
yeah, yeah, and it seems like the police knows what that is. They got the breadcrumbs, so they making a loaf of bread right now. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So they know what it is, or they wouldn't have came and captured them and threw them in the tank. They know what they're doing. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So
So
as far as your boy Lucian Grains, there's a lot of people in the music industry
wow,
involved, a lot of executives, right? You got Lucian Grains, and I'm
wow,
really tripping out that Kevin Lyles just quit 300 today,
wow,
just stepped down. And
yeah,
it could be timing, but I heard he had a little bit to do with this too. I heard he had his hands in the pot
yeah.
too.
Well, I mean, who didn't go to puffy parties is a question you gotta ask. Who didn't go to those white parties? Remember, he had the all white parties, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and before this Ruben fella started doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Puffy's been doing this in the '90s, and you gotta ask yourself, how many people attended these all white parties? Was Kevin Lyles there? Yeah, Kevin Lyles was a part of
Had
the
to be,
crew.
bro. Had to be.
Yeah, L.A. Reid was a part of the crew. You know,
Mhm.
um,
Well, we all know how these dudes see. Most of these dudes is married, man, but them women are nothing more than beards.
ain't nothing more than that. I mean, you heard what Puffy said. Puffy said this is a part of the industry, right? So in his mind, it's a part of the industry. Now we can't go out there and paint the industry with a broad brush and think that everything Puffy said is true. He's just saying this to turn out the person that he's trying to turn out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he's telling his turnouts, hey, everybody's doing this. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Um, take these pills and you'll feel good in half an hour. You'll want to join us, you know? And that's what he was doing. And you asked me earlier, what names are there? Oh man, we can ask Usher about this. We can ask Justin Bieber. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we can ask Jermaine Dupri. Were you ever there?
Oh man, Jermaine Dupri. You
We
think
can
they had
ask.
Jermaine Dupri down there getting oiled down?
I don't know, because Nelly was over there. Remember, Nelly was a model, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta ask Nelly, is this true, Nelly? Did
No,
you did
no.
you see anything? You
Mhm.
know, you gotta ask a lot of people. Did you see anything? You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Well, I think a
because
lot
I,
of people saw stuff, but people usually keep their mouth shut about stuff. It's a whole bunch of craziness that goes on, man. And you know that, man, because that's why, you kind of, when you had Diary of a Hollywood Street King, you had a lot of stuff going on over there, man. You was exposing a whole lot.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, from that time, ain't nothing really changed. It's just validating what we put out 20 years ago.
Mm.
You know, and people thought we was putting out some crazy stuff or just hating, but it wasn't hate. It. The more ridiculous the story sounds, the more truth it is. Um, I mean, and these guys are doing some real. Wait till people really hear about Puffy and how ridiculous this guy really is, because you got somebody who's flying high on some heavy hallucination drugs.
Now it sounds like you know a little bit more than what you letting on, man. Go ahead, man, and spill that, man.
No, I mean he's tripping. I mean he's got special K on the table. He's got cocaine. He's got ecstasy. He's got some mollies. He
Mm.
got he got a whole bunch. He got tootsies. He got everything out there. He's 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 Puffy VVS, Puffy CVS. You know, he's got
Mm.
his own pharmacy happening, and then you got to remember he's flying this dope from state to state on his private plane, right? He had
Yeah,
that
you
young.
know what? Which is a major crime in itself, because now he may get indictments from other places. Once you cross state lines, like if I fly from California and I fly over these states, I fly over New Mexico, Arizona, they can all bring up charges. Is that true?
Yeah, true. You're
Mm-hmm.
crossing state lines, and he's flying this dope. I mean, we're speaking of what we know, so we're not pulling stuff from out of thin air. We're speaking of young mommy who just few months back this year, stories came about her transporting dope on Puffy's aircraft to Puffy, you
Mm-hmm.
know, right? So she's gonna have something to say, right? I mean, the DA is not gonna throw a man who's a billionaire in the tank unless they got something on him.
Yeah,
You
because
know
he
what
did
I'm saying?
some stuff, because I know we heard about and what really trips me out, man, is you told me all this stuff a long time ago, and I'm not gonna lie, I gotta apologize, Jacky. I ain't believe you. You told me he'd put Usher in the hospital, man. I said, no, no, man. That can't be real, man. I
Um,
told Usher, I need you to hit them notes a certain kind of way.
uh, I think what happened was with him and Usher was, I believe, Usher had to stay with him for like about a year to groom him into being an artist who was sent to Puffy from, I believe, L.A. Reid,
Hmm.
and Puffy had to turn this young teenage boy into an artist. Now, I'm not making this up. Usher said that Puffy took him to an orgy when he was underage, right? Um, where was Usher's parents?
That's
You
what I
know?
was gonna say. Where was his mama at? Where was his I know I don't never hear nothing about Usher's father, but where was his mama at?
So those are questions that are going to be asked. So these he had that dude as a kid. He did the same with Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber had to spend some time with him because he had to groom Justin Bieber into an artist.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's like putting your daughter in the hands of Harvey Weinstein. She's like, you giving Justin Bieber to Puffy. It's crazy,
Yeah,
you
you know
know?
what? One thing I will say, outside of all this stuff, Puffy did do his thing with them kids musically and stuff. He did get them right, you know. So he did his job when he came back, but he did his job and then some. You know, he's a predator, man. You know, I
He's a
think what we're
predator.
seeing right now, he had a lot of predatory behavior, and
And he had a lot of connects because he was promising these these entertainers, hey, I can get you a Grammy if you do X, Y, and Z for me sexually, you know? So it shows he had connects to the award shows as well, you know?
mhm.
You know
Now,
what I'm saying?
now, as far as all these other people that's involved, you know, they took hit, you know, the Weinstein cat down a while ago. They taking him down. How many people you think? How many more people you think out there?
Regarding to Puffy or Weinstein,
Just regardless of just these just deviants.
I think the industry's full of them. Um, a lot of copycats. I think Puffy wasn't the first guy to do this. He saw this happening and he really to himself maybe put his own flavor into his madness, but he saw this madness elsewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So how many Puffies are there? I mean, it's a gang of them, you know? Um, we got this who's this guy who makes music for Katy Perry and all these guys? Dr. Luke, whatever his name is.
Mhm.
We got Keisha calling him out, you know? And I think you know what I think what happens is see Dr. Luke is allowed to do what he probably still doing for the factor is that he's still making music. What we saw in R. Kelly when R. Kelly couldn't make music anymore, they came and got him.
And that's crazy. You know what? I'm gonna talk about that, man. How
You
many
see what I'm
years the
saying?
kid was getting? 30 years.
Yeah, I mean he's not seeing the sun for a minute, you know, the way we see it. And I think Puffy's downfall was when he couldn't create product anymore for the man. He was useless now, you know? And he got so ahead of himself as a useless idiot that when he tried to sue the liquor company and them cats from France, and that's when it all hit the
Yeah,
fan. You dig what I'm saying?
yeah.
Uh,
You 100% right. And I think somebody dropped a dime on Puff too, man.
he was doing too much, you know? Um, he was doing too much. I mean, we got the cat out here. Remember the family who used to own all the Ralph's supermarkets out here?
Hmm.
Ron Burkle.
Hmm.
That that was people would say allegedly that was Puffy's sugar daddy, you know?
Because Puff
And
had paper. You know, I don't been in the music industry, man, and Puff made a lot of money. Like Puff was a bit. I believe Puff was a billionaire.
yeah,
He had a
right.
lot of paper for a dude who ain't put out no music in a long time.
And once you're not putting out music, you're not really worth it anymore. And you brought up Lucci and Grange, and it's funny because his son looks like he's passing the torch onto his son. His son now runs Warner Music and all that.
Yeah, you notice the
So
timing of all this though, man. It's like everybody kind of clearing themselves. I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if Lucian Grange lead the country, man.
everybody's kind of like cleaning up their act, right? Because they don't
Hmm.
know how far this is gonna go. I mean,
Oh, they know
question.
Puffy about to tell Puffy about to start singing, man. Puffy ain't trying to do all that time, man. He gonna start snitching.
So then the question we gotta ask is Puffy a man wanted dead? You know, because they certainly don't want him alive,
I'm
right?
pretty
Because
sure, man, it's some powerful people. When you start talking about the Lucian Granges of the world, man, all these other people, man, Clive, these people got major paper, man,
Well,
and
I don't think Clive's involved. I think Clive actually was a part of throwing him under the bus.
you
You
believe
know?
so?
Yeah, because allegedly there's rumor that Clive was the one that helped pay for Cassie's lawyers.
Mm.
See what I'm
That would
saying?
make sense, but why you think Clive would have beef against Puff? Because he gave Puff a whole bunch of money.
He got ahead of himself. He forgot who made them. These plants are very crazy. Like plants lose their mind. They forgot that they were a plant. Like Puffy actually, in his mind, believes that without him, there would have been no Mary J. Blige. There would have been no Biggie Smalls.
Mm.
There would have been, you dig what I'm saying? Huh? Like there would have been no New York in the 90s.
So he
I
started doing too much.
Yeah, he started thinking I made New York, you know? I made all this shit. Excuse my language. I made all of this. And I think that's when he went crazy, with narcissism fueled by chemicals, dope. It just took him to the edge. I mean, here's a guy who wants to blow up Kid Cudi's truck.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Puff was doing a whole lot of gangster stuff, man. He was doing a whole lot of gangster stuff. Puff out there trying to, he putting mafia style hits on people and stuff, man. That's some crazy 1920 stuff, ain't it?
He hanging Wale out the window.
He said he
Cause
hold on, he hung Wale out the window.
yeah, cause Wale was doing a track with Cassie, and they say Wale and them in the studio, and all of a sudden Puffy barged in with his gang, rushed Wale and put the smacks to him and hung him out the window and all that by the ankles. So
Mm.
I mean, this is all allegedly that's being said. You know what I'm saying? So we're saying to ourselves, this guy's power hungry. He's losing it. We got him just recently, I hear on the internet that he was wilding out at a party with everybody. Who broke the story? I think it was Punch from TDE broke the story. And
Yeah, shout out to the homie Punch.
yeah,
Punch, Punch was supposed to be on here with me, man. I'm gonna have to holler at Punch, man.
we were Punch was saying that
So
Puffy went crazy, and one of Jay Z's men ended up putting the pieces on J. Cole because Puffy had a disagreement with J. Cole. You know,
mm,
he punching Drake in the stomach. Puffy punching Drake in the stomach over a beat. I mean, he was going. He was showing out. You know, he's
mm,
knocking up these little kids. He's beating because come on, Drake and these cats is little kids to Puffy. You get what I'm saying,
mm.
right? Because Puffy been in this game since Heavy D, man. Now when
Yeah,
Casey and
he
JoJo and
has
them,
been around a long time.
yeah, before Casey and Joe, he was around with Father MC, man. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, but Puff, Puff is 54 years old though, man. Puff ain't no spring chicken.
So I mean, this is a cat who's been doing a lot, and then his wife passed away, Kim Porter, and
That
now
was
we got.
that was kind of under mysterious circumstances, though, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying what people are saying. I'm saying Donald Trump Jr., Don Jr., said that his wife at the time used to model with Kim Porter, and Kim used to call her and tell her that she's living in a nightmare with this man. And if anything happens to me, it's this man, you know?
Mm.
And I didn't say that. It's Don Jr. talking this. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it looks like Democrat, Republican, both don't like this guy. This guy was terrorizing everybody. He seems like he's like the Black Epstein of the music business. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that cat. Puff had his own island too, didn't he?
Yeah, down Star Island down in Miami. That's where he did all his ridiculous stunts. Yeah.
Boy, that's ironic. It was called Star Island for a reason. It's called Star Island for a reason, man.
And then, he hung out with Rick Ross. Rick Ross got to have some stuff to say about this. That was Rick's buddy. You
Man, I
know what I'm
hope Jose
saying?
wasn't involved in none of these shenanigans, man.
Yeah, I said, well, hey, I'm not according to 50 Cent, you know, them two cats were BFFs. So I'm not pulling this out of thin air. I'm just, I'm just parroting what people already put out there to put it all together to make a body of work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, so I want to go back a little bit, man. Cause this puffy stuff, I think we go keep hearing stuff as days come out, man. I think we go start seeing a lot of stuff pop up. Back in the day, man, you broke a lot of stuff. You was one of the first people to talk about one of my favorite rappers, man.
Who's that?
And I halfway don't want to say it, my boy Busta Bus.
Now, I don't even want to get into all of that, but I think he's going to be another name that's going to be mentioned at Puffy Party. Yeah. Um, Regarding to Bus, I mean,
Go on and say it, man. You might well go on and say it, man.
I mean, I really want to get into all that and regurgitate things from the past, but
But a lot of these
you
people
know,
out here might not have heard that though, man. You know, because it was something that came out a few months ago, and I laughed. I said, "Man, my God, Jacky told me about that too, man. I didn't want to believe it, man, but it got to be true."
I mean, say I really don't want to go there, but back in the day, he tried to knock on me like I was a chick. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, this dude's out of his mind, And that's how bold these cats could. They feel empowered that they could actually, here I am. I'm Playboy and all that. So I'm out here looking at chicks and all that. I'm doing what I gotta do. We're running game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we know how to run game because we're in the '90s, so there's a whole lot of games going on with the girls and all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and these cats ain't even there. They're into like checking on dudes and all that. And you're like, yo, this is fool crazy. I'm out here wearing Versace, getting my hair dripped and all that for the chicks. Like this dude's taking that personal. Like, this ain't for you. This is for these girls. Like,
Oh man, that's crazy, man, and that's crazy because I know. Now, let me ask you this: when you broke that story about Martin Sheen, when you
Charlie
broke the
Sheen.
Charlie
Well,
Sheen, I'm sorry, forgive
mm-hmm.
me, that was an error, so don't come and try to sue me. The whole thing about Charlie Sheen. Did you receive any threats?
um, Not really. I think that was pretty cool. I mean, put it this way, when you break in stories like that, or you get an information like that, um, I don't know if you're a blogger anymore. At that time point, you're you're like a journalist because you're getting paid not to write everything that you know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you becoming so informed of what's cracking out there. People's legal teams are getting at you to give you cash to
Yeah, they
to
breaking bread.
yeah to direct your narrative of what's coming out your mouth.
Yeah, to not say nothing because there's so many other stories, man, that we can go into, but I don't even want to go into some of this stuff. I don't even want to believe, you know.
I mean, it's real. I mean, as I said, we spoke about Puffy decades ago, and here it is, real life. Um, People didn't believe nothing back then, but they gotta ask themselves, why did they not see it? You know, like I'm not mad because Puffy never got nothing out of my pocket. You know, it's not like I took money out and gave Puffy or
Mm-hmm.
sponsored any of his crazy clothing line. I ain't never wore no Sean John. You know what I'm saying? Um, I never fed his machine. You know, but a lot of people did, and when you know something is wrong, you're not supposed to feed it. A lot of these people, they kind of knew something was wrong, but they didn't care. So a lot of people are more so enablers when they look at themselves. Um, a lot of people was dancing in the clubs to to the Benjamin. When
You
you
know what? Bad Boy had some dope records, man. You
Yeah,
can't dispute that, man. Bad Boy
no,
had
no,
era
no,
for sure.
but that's the time Tupac already told you about him. So how you gonna be loving Pac and having a glass in your hand dancing to the Benjamins? You got
Yeah, well, you know what Pac said. This man Puffy getting bribed like a to hide the fact he did some stuff that he did, so he riding for that.
yeah,
He said it a long time ago, man. I heard a lot of this stuff. I heard a long time ago. Like you said, man, it's all kind of like regurgitated at this point, but it's a trip when it all comes to fruition. And it's like, man, people really getting indicted for all this stuff now.
yeah, and it's gonna get bigger because there's some real names. I mean, you got models, you gonna have athletes, you gonna have rappers, you gonna have singers, you gonna
Do
have
you got anybody?
politicians.
Do you have a big name that's confirmed that you know about?
I mean, we spoke on names already of all what we have mentioned. Is
Hmm.
there any more names to come out? I think in due time, so many names are going to come out. It's going to be ridiculous. But to sit up here and just pull names out of the hat won't be justice to a lot of people.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it would
but
be cool.
but what you can say is that the West Coast is so clean right now. You know,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Because you're not gonna hear about Dre and this foolery. You're not gonna hear about Snoop and this foolery. You're not. I mean, out of the East, 50 is really clean too. 50 got no dirt on him. You know, um,
I
but
know he's somewhere laughing now, though.
but he laughing. We
He
gotta
must be
ask.
having a field day right now.
We gotta ask. Did Nas go to Puffy parties? You know, we gotta ask these
I
things.
hope not, man. Nas ain't go to no puffy party,
I
man.
hope he didn't
I
go.
rebuke that. I rebuke that, Jackie. I hope Nas but not have been in none of them parties, man. Nas one of my favorites, man.
I hope he didn't go, man. But you know what? You could attend, but not partake,
Oh,
right?
you know what? And it's one thing that people
No,
forget about.
you could attend, but not partake. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
But let me tell you, let me ask you this, Jackie. You know it's a trip, man. People forget stuff, right? You know who Puffy's favorite rapper was for a minute over there, who was writing all the songs for him and who came up? Your boy
Mace?
Mace. Yeah, Mace.
Yeah, yeah,
And Mace is doing this thing right now with Cam. Shout out to Mace, but we can't forget, man, and not too long ago, he got caught down in the ATL doing some things.
and I mean, not speaking about nothing, but when Mace and Cam had a beef, I think like 2014 or 15 around there, these guys were beefing, and they both had diss records out on each other. Cam kind of exposed Mace with Puffy, saying when he went over to Mace's spot, he saw dildos in the sink and all that. You know,
Mhm.
um, just once again, I am not making this up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, this is
I'm
stuff. This is all fact, man. This stuff is all
I'm
true.
I'm parroting what Cam said. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Right? So I think what Puffy was using his platform for was actually to make some of course make money off selling records, of course, to get some awards, of course, to keep the ads and brands going, of course, that was all included, you know. But at the same time, his vices was included, you know.
Hmm.
His vices was what he was into. You know, is he a bisexual man? Hell yeah, you know. So I mean, there's so much to talk. I mean, um, so much to get into, you know, so much.
Man, and you know what, man? The thing that's crazy about this, man, when you start hearing the names like Bishop T.D. Jakes and just
Yeah,
some of these names, man, it make you really shake your head, man. You don't want to believe stuff, and like you said, it wouldn't be fair just to go calling people out, man. But it is what it is.
I mean, I totally agree with you. We're hearing TD Jake's name's been mentioned for a minute. We're hearing it, but I think what's going to happen now, everything's going to come to light. You know, what's in the dark's going to start shining. You know, it's going to come out. And who was the kid from up Oakland that was dating Kim Porter and he died? I forgot his name. Passed my mind.
The
Um,
kid from Oakland that was dating Kim Porter.
um,
He wasn't a rapper, was he?
no.
Let me
Um,
see. Hold on. Oakland and Kim Porter. I never heard that one, Jacky.
hold on. Um, um, trying to think. You know, I know what I'm talking about too. You know, I know what I'm talking about.
Because I know Diddy beat a whole bunch of people up behind Kim Porter.
Yeah, yeah. That was no joke. Um, I forgot the kid's name, man. Um, I forgot the kid's name. But we catch it next time. Somebody in the comment section probably know I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what though, man? But Puff did a lot of stuff. Puff beat up Shakir Stewart, man, and I think
that's
he
what I'm
had
talking about. That's what I'm talking
Shakir
about.
Stewart. Yeah, Shakir
That's what I'm
Stewart.
talking about.
You know
And
what, man? I'm gonna say this, man. Shakir
um,
Stewart was a cool dude, man, but I think Puff had some stuff on him.
um, I mean, that's a questionable death. You know,
That's very questionable because I don't think Shakir didn't have no reason to commit no suicide, man.
I said. I mean, when you die with a question mark, it's normally overdose or suicide, right?
Hmm.
Because case will be closed right away, right?
Hmm.
So when we look at suspicious deaths, you know, Michael Jackson overdose, Prince overdose, you know.
You know what? Let's talk about that real quick, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, and this is kind of going off the subject, people, but I want to talk about Whitney Houston real quick, right?
Overdose.
Overdose. Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and I believe even Prince. They all had one person in common. They had one person in common. Now, and even this dude got something to do with OJ. So when
Yeah.
you start talking about some serial killer like stuff, man, it's one dude. Can I say his first name?
Oh, you can say his first name.
Well, you know what? They can't see your face, nigga. Well, so you you say his first name.
Well,
What's his
I
name?
mean, his real name was Raffles Van Exel,
Yeah,
and we have a guy like this who's connected to three of our most favorite and
iconic.
celebrated icons:
Hmm.
Michael, Whitney, Prince. Um, and he was around through everyone's falling in life. Like when they're about to wild out and spiral out of control, he was there, you know? Um, he's like the merchant of death, you know? But that's a whole other character, you know? Um,
Character for real, man, because he was on some medieval stuff almost.
yeah, he's on some next level type ish, you know? Uh, the stuff that we talking about regarding Puff is more of an Epstein type of a takedown. You
Hmm.
know, it ain't Weinstein because Weinstein was just a pervert. You know,
Yeah, with a
um,
Van Exel cat, man, you know, it's like when you start getting all of these people, and then check this out. He winds up getting all the Prince's money. Winds up being Prince's beneficiary. Prince's
oh,
sister
you
didn't get
talking
no.
you back talking about raffles? Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, but that just I just thought about that, man. How is it that a man's sister and family don't get nothing, but it's a dude that come from out of nowhere that he just met a few years ago, wind up getting all the money.
what happened is, I believe, to make a long story short regarding that, because there's a whole complete different storyline and chapter. Raffles Van Exel. What we talking about is a dude who flew out, I think, to Missouri, somewhere like that. Him and his lawyer to meet Prince's half brother Alfred Jackson. They met Alfred. Alfred the next day died of a heroin overdose and placed took his name off the will and placed Raffles Van Exel to receive his share of the will from his deceased brother Prince. And that's
Oh
how
man,
Raffle got into Prince's will. Yeah. I mean, once again, I'm not making this up. It's on court
man,
documents.
this is all facts right here, man. It's like,
Yeah.
man, you know what, man? Can I ask you a question, man? We about to get out of here in a little bit, man. Shout out to everybody, man, who's been rocking with us, man, for this past. We've been on here almost an hour. We got us a few more minutes, man. I can't see. I'm blind as hell. So when y'all think I'm asleep, man, it's because my eyes. I'm blind. I can't see. I be looking at stuff. Uh, man, all of this stuff, and this dude ain't been to jail, man. You talking about Whitney Houston? You talk about Prince? You talk about Michael Jackson? And mark me if I'm like, tell me if I'm wrong. Even Whitney's kids, right?
I mean, yeah, he was connected to Bobby Christina and Bobby Christina's boyfriend at the time, Nick Gordon, which both are no longer with us. Eva, R.I.P. to both. I told you, this character that we're talking to and the chapter that you're opening is titled Merchant of Death. And that's a whole nother story.
And we gonna talk about this. We gonna start doing this every week. I told my boy because I'm gonna tell y'all this. Jacky is responsible for all the BS y'all see today. I don't know if y'all ever looked at Diary of a Hollywood Street King, the webs, the blog that was out there, but he broke news on everybody. And I swear, y'all, they didn't get to see half the good stuff because people contacted you, and pretty much, they said, man, we got this for you if you don't talk about it, because it was true, so they couldn't sue you about it, right?
Nah, because at that time the internet was the wild wild west. Now they kind of got a grip on it. you know because now they got troll farms to come in and try to debunk real stories,
Mhm.
and throw you off. So they got a lot of things going on back. I mean, I started blogging in 2008, man. When I
Mhm.
started blogging, Media Takeouts was talking about Beyonce matching her purse and her shoes. That
Mhm.
was their big story. You know what I'm saying? Like, we came in this game with a bang, like telling you what people's is having for breakfast and
And
who
you
they
had
slept with
people,
last night, whatever.
because you was one of the first people, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe tell me if I'm talking too much. You had one of them girls that everybody messed with. You had their mama sending you information, right?
I mean, everybody was. I had so much information coming in. I just couldn't keep up with the drops, you know, because I was running the only site that would publish anything that was real. Because everybody else was really a fan, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a fan of nothing because I'm coming from the industry, you know? So nowadays, that's all changed, but I wasn't really playing all that. I was just getting all these drops, you know? And I was paying for the drops too. So they hit me with some drops. I'll get over to Western Union, whatever, because we didn't have Cash App and all that back then, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we get out Western Union, send them some money. And once you wetting up the streets, they keep coming at you, you know? They telling me what's going on in real time, 3 a.m. in the morning in WeHo, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just saw so and so pulled through, you know? Get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but before we go, man, which one? What's the biggest story you ever broke over there, man?
I think the biggest one was Charlie Sheen, you know, telling the world that he was infecting people with HIV. And I think the second one is what really got me in trouble, which was the Peter Nygaard story of which reminds me so much of the Puffy's case, you know, because Nygaard was a billionaire like Puffy, and Nygaard was a fashion icon who was using his monies and power for perversion, you know, and
Man,
youth. Just
man,
like
what's up with these dudes, man?
I think they get so much money and they get, you know, they was always crazy, but when they get the money, they go extra crazy. Because we can't say everybody with money go crazy. Because Warren Buffett's not crazy. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, Mark Cuban's not crazy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, so the money really is not really is what driving you crazy. I think some people are just naturally out there, and the money that comes in to match that energy just drives them over the edge, you know?
You know what,
And
man? I think it's a spiritual component this to this too, man. I think if you a morally bankrupt person and you broke, you really can't flex a lot of the stuff that you want to do. But once you get that paper, it kind of allows you to step into that realm, man. It's a lot of it's evil. It's a component of evil definitely tied into
oh,
this, man.
definitely, definitely.
For
Like
real, it's a
it's attached
spiritual
to the
thing.
botchery. It's a spiritual thing because godly people do godly things, right? And dark people do dark things, you know?
Hmm.
And who you align yourself with is what you're gonna do. And you know, a lot of us, you know, in the game do crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? To get to the next level, you know? Um and I mean, I think this has been going on in Hollywood before you and I were born, man. You know? It's just right now it's just more visible because we got the internet. You know what I'm saying? But what Puffy be doing, movie houses was doing it, fashion houses was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's crazy. I mean, we all forgetting that Andrew Cunanan left his house, went to a gay bar down in WeHo, and then drove down to Miami to shoot Versace because somebody gave them AIDS. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and they made a whole TV series about that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Right? But
It's crazy, man. You know
just that
what,
whole
man?
uh-huh.
Not to cut you off, Jackie. The monster is still out there too. That's the crazy part about it, man. These people
Yeah.
acting like it's don't disappear, man. I'm gonna tell y'all now in the audience, especially y'all young women, And even the young brothers, y'all be careful out there because the monster is still running rampant. And a lot of these people who your favorite rappers, yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is.
I'm
All
saying
right.
too much. Without
remember,
saying too much,
remember,
be careful out there.
in the puffy paperwork, we got Stevie J going up in dudes without any condoms, right? This was written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as you just would say, um, you got to be safe out there and practice safe sex, and don't let these people drive you the wrong way because the monster is alive and kicking.
Yeah, don't let their celebrity status know how much money they got fool you. A lot of these people is walking around because the thing is now they got medicine, man, to where you can look like you. Shoot, some of them dudes healthier than me and you.
They flying out getting stem cell and all that in Europe, but you gotta have a certain price bracket to do that. The regular Joe can't do that, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So this gonna
but
be
yeah,
me.
man.
This gonna be me and Jacky's thing that we do every Tuesday night. We gonna do it live. We go call it breaking news. Just breaking news. We gonna talk about a bunch of stuff that ain't nobody else talking about. Everything we do is gonna be fact based. We not gonna necessarily be doing no just making up stuff and throwing it out there like these other clowns. We go, bring y'all some real news. We appreciate y'all and we out of here. Y'all stay safe out there.
Word.